welcome to another edition of the live Pittsburgh Sportsline TV show in the BPTV studios. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Chip Hayner's with me. Smoking Jim Frazier's here, a.k.a. Stevie Wonder. He's still got it going on. He still thinks he looks like Ali, but I've had everybody vote. The verdict's in. Looks like Stevie. We've got a lot of great sports to talk to you about tonight. We got a full cast here. We got two Zachs, one Jack, and a Steve on audio and video tonight. We even got Jack here on the camera with the headphones working with us, kind of keep us straight on what we got to look at. Luckily, I know my camera's to the left, so I'm looking right there. We're golden. And thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way from Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between. We appreciate, all the watching that you do of our show. It's on every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, and sometimes some odd hours. Had a friend of mine, Johnny Mariano, who does camera work here. He said he was up at 3 in the morning on a Saturday night, and he saw our show. So who knows when they're on. But thanks for watching. Thanks for all the likes on Facebook. 6,871 likes. We appreciate that. You watch our shows and like our page. We're just a little show here, and we appreciate all the likes. I got a few promos for you. First up, Olive Oil's Pizzeria. We'll see what Jack can do with the camera. He's spot on. 412-831-1900. Get your pizza there. Give them a call. Tell them Al Levine, the talking machine, said give them a call. They got great pizza and a lot of great Italian food there. Check it out right at Hillcrest Shopping Center. Can't miss it. Even Smoking Jim knows where it's at. Next up, Bethel Park Historical Society, Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. They rent out plenty of their offices there, and they reconstructed this old school. It's over 100 years old. They have a $1 million project that they're getting money to put together there, and they've refurbished about 3/4 of it. They even have a new business there, Reginald's Coffee. I get my green tea there, a nice pot of Dragonwell. It's very good. They have great coffee and little treats there for you. That's Reginald's Coffee at the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center. Next up, I end each show in honor of Joey Fabus. He died before his 9th birthday with DIPG, a dreaded brain cancer. And his family has done great things in the last 4 years, raised over $100,000 to give to doctors to try to find a cure. So they're a 501c3. If you donate $1, check out their events. They'll have a 5K, 1-mile walk coming at the high school in September. I'm not sure of the date, but we always film a show there, so check it out. Maybe you'll get interviewed by the talking machine. Next up, Dave Cable likes to have a little fun at my expense. That's my face on Uncle Sam. I want you for BPTV. Tell them Uncle Al Levine, the talking machine, wants you. Give a call, 412-831-3304. Tell Dave you want to help on location when we do shows outside of the studio. You want to help in the studio like new Zach is right tonight. His first time here, helping Zach, who came on the open house. And we got Jack here with us. And they do a great job. Look how nice this little flyer looks. Thank you. Next up, another 501c3, Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you from $100 to $5,000. Get an application at bpcf.org. Get an app, come in, ask for money for your group to do more great things in Bethel Park. Check it out. They do have money. Last year, over $100,000 they gave out, so you could be on that list. I'm a trustee on the board. We listen to everybody and would welcome you to come on out and talk to us. Thank you for that. Next up, we have a sponsor of What's on Your Mind, Skeets Lewandowski of Skeets Service Station. They're past Trax Farm, Mineral Beach, past the Dairy Queen. They're a red, white, and blue building. They work on anything and everything that runs on gas. They even have a Pittsburgh Drive Shaft Company now. They do all kind of forging, milling, all kind of products they do out of the place there. Give them a call at 724-348-4715. Tell them Al Levine, the talking machine, sent you there. He'll take care of you. Anything and everything that runs on gas. Next, we start our show with What's on Your Mind? Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine. My old high school option quarterback days down
What year?
there, pitch option.
What year was that? Because I didn't hear you play quarterback.
But I'll tell you what, when I
I heard rumor that one picture posted in Cal U was 1978.
well, the one thing I can say, Al Levine, the talking machine, is, now that I'm drinking soda water, baking soda water.
Since when?
So I can pretty much live forever on that.
What are you drinking tonight?
But that's to wash it down. But I'm going to now start eating yogurt.
You just found yogurt.
Yogurt, and they say it's good to put now that I'm cleaning out all the bad stuff with the baking soda water, now I'll put some good bacteria in with the yogurt. Is that true?
Yeah, there is good bacteria in it.
But it got to be certain yogurt?
Yeah, it should have a live culture in it.
Okay, I gotta be careful with that.
Yeah, you got to check it out because some of them are over-processed. They're just something sweet to eat. Well, how's that Kentucky Fried Chicken you're eating? How's that working for you?
Finger licking
Gotta
good.
eat something.
Finger licking good.
Wow.
But hey,
A bucket a day will keep the doctor at the door.
But the one thing I can say, Al Levine, the talking
Thanks for
machine,
bringing that up.
just wanted to give a shout out to a few people. How about Rachel come through last night, formerly Billy, gave me a beautiful mug for my birthday. Thanks. How about Coach Pat Carmack,
Yeah.
who I fought to get into the City League Hall of Fame. He's very deserving. One of the few coaches we put in the City League Hall of Fame, and he's in there, and he gave me a nice card. How about Baby Doll Bonnie, Hall of Famer? She brought me in some cookies from Max and Irma's.
Unbelievable.
And last but not least,
With a yogurt cookie?
yeah,
definitely
chocolate
yogurt.
chip cookies. They were big, they were good. And last but not least, from Bethel Bakery, Al Levine, the talking machine, my brother from another mother, brought a beautiful white cake with white icing on there, man. It was so good.
What was on there? What was on there?
It was a Batman cake, and most people know why they call me Batman.
He disappears.
And also had, I didn't even see it at the beginning, but it had Happy Birthday Smoking Jim.
I
so
tried
it
to
was
tell
very
you
nice.
it was on the side, but for some reason, with his Stevie Wonder glasses, he couldn't see.
And when I get home tonight, I'll try to find that missing knife. But then I had my cousin drive in from Cleveland.
Billy,
Drove 3.5 hours empty-handed. Thank goodness for white friends, huh?
Wait a minute. Cleveland is a 2 hour drive.
He can't see either.
However long it was, he came in empty-handed.
Would he drive to Cleveland via Harrisburg?
No, he made a wrong turn.
And Albuquerque.
One expert.
That's why we say.
No, it was nice to see him there. He's a good cousin.
Yeah, I would like to see him with a little something in his hand, but
He did.
I thought he was going to open the door with his elbows.
No,
and
he
his
told
hands.
me.
Was it like out like this?
Yeah, I even ended up buying. He got 2 jobs. He's a police officer in Cleveland. I ended up buying him the
Italian
ice cold
ice.
Italian ice. Yeah.
Well, he told me he got you the same thing you got him last year for his birthday.
Yeah. He sure did. But anyhow,
I just figured I'd add that.
I'll close out by saying this. Thank goodness for my white friends.
You're welcome, Smoking Jim. It was a heck of a birthday bash and Pittsburgh Sportsline Hall of Fame, one of our better shows. It was a fun show. All right, Chip Hayner, what's on your mind?
Well, thank you, Alan, and good evening, everybody. But 2 things on my mind, and in the immortal words of Smoking Jim Frazier, and I quote, anything a man can do, a woman can do better. Nothing was more prominent on Sunday than the U.S. women's soccer team winning the Gold Cup and the men's soccer team failing again. Wow. So congratulations to the U.S. women's soccer team on winning back-to-back World Cups, and also to Megan Rapinoe for winning the Golden Boot for the highest scoring female in the tournament, and the Golden Ball for being the most outstanding player in the tournament.
Wow.
So kudos to the American women's national soccer team.
Go USA.
And all the accolades that come with it. But what is on my mind? You know, Major League Baseball had a problem with players that were using performance-enhancing drugs, and the records got all skewed, and everything got all willy-nilly, and subsequently, quite a number of players that used performance-enhancing drugs have now been denied entry into the Hall of Fame. So what did Major League Baseball do? Because, you know, Major League Baseball was a culprit in this as well as the players, because they turned a blind eye to the PED use until it became
rampant.
And well, until they decided that it was time to end it, and then they made the players the scapegoats. So, be that as it may, so now that the players can't be juiced, what did Major League Baseball do? They decided to juice the baseballs. And last year, Major League Baseball set a record with over 6,100 home runs hit in the season. Wow. Well, because the balls have not been doctored, according to MLB, they are on pace to hit over 6,600 home runs this year if they continue at the pace now. Now, you know, some people may say that, you know, baseball's all about home runs. And I was saying last week, the ladies love the long ball. But for our baseball purists, you know, the home run is not the most important thing in the game. I would rather see a well-pitched 2-1 baseball game than a 13 to 12 slugfest with eight home runs. But this is the way baseball's gone. But to say that something is not wrong with the baseballs, I believe, is doing a disservice to anybody that has half a brain. I mean, anybody can see that the balls are flying out and flying further than they have in recent years. And, you know, now the players, they bat .230, but if they could hit the ball out of the ballpark, they warrant themselves a 10, a 15, a 20, a $30 million contract. You know, I think one of the biggest stories of this year is what Brian Reynolds is doing, the rookie outfielder for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's only hit 7 home runs. But here's the young man that's batting almost .360, okay? Yeah. And I think that's way more of an accomplishment for a young man to come up from the minor leagues who nobody even heard of after spring training, and he's hitting the cover off the ball. He's not hitting home runs, but he's getting on base more often than anybody, and I still say this young man is going to be the National League Rookie of the Year.
Wow.
Mark my words. But that's the kind of baseball I like to see, and that's what's on my mind.
Can I say one thing before we go to Al Levine?
Always. Please do. And hopefully it's about home runs.
Well, I'm proud of Chip because Chip must have went back and studied the show, and he pretty much repeated verbatimly what I was saying last week. So I congratulate you on that, Chip. Also, you're talking about, you know, you're agreeing with me again that Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa saved baseball, but they still not allowing those guys to go into the Hall of Fame. And you said they're on pace. They saved the game, but you said they're on pace for how many home runs this year?
6,658.
And what's so impressive is Archer's still leading the league and giving up home runs. That's impressive to me.
Absolutely wrong.
That's impressive.
Absolutely wrong.
I'm going to go to the next point.
No, the next point to correct you, because once again, the fountain of misinformation to my left. The pitcher that's leading the major leagues and giving up the most home runs is the starting pitcher in the AllStar Game
neck to neck,
Justin Verlander.
And that's what's on my mind. Justin Verlander came out saying that the baseballs are juiced. He's leading the league with 26.
Wow.
26 home runs, and he has an ERA of under 3. So what kind of pitcher is he? And
Well-
he's putting it right on him. So today, the commissioner of baseball came out and said, we have not directed anybody to juice the baseballs. They are not juiced, but there is something with the baseball, but they are more aerodynamic or something.
They say
That's what they had said, and they don't know why.
They say that the laces don't come out as much, so it makes the ball more. But I will say this: I did not inhale.
Now that we covered what's on our mind, I just had to put the period on that. But Justin Verlander came out and was emotional about it, and he knows they're doing something wrong there, like these other pitchers know too. And the batters must realize it too, because they're jacking them out of the park pretty good. Because as we all know, girls like the long ball. And we'll be back with some fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, L. Levine, the talking machine. Thanks, Chip Hayner. Thanks, my main man, Jack. We got Zach. Got the Rookie of the Year, Steve Fisher. And my main man, Zach Taylor. Tell him to come on out here and get some pizza. He deserved it and earned it. But my fiction and facts from Smokin' Jim's Almanac goes all the way back to back that
Last week.
2006. High tops were still available.
13 years ago.
Yeah,
In
the
Monroeville?
Pittsburgh. Yeah. The one down on North Shore. The Pirates was hosting the AllStar Game. I was one of the guys they picked. They had the red carpet out, and I would walk one of the Major League Baseball players out.
Oh, I thought you were walking the girls down the red
Yeah,
carpet.
I wish, man. And I tell you what, the girls was out that night. They had the limousines going, and I got to walk out a guy at that time who was squeaky clean, Alex Rodriguez. I couldn't believe how tall he was and how big he was. Nice guy,
How do you know
gentleman.
he was squeaky clean?
At that time, there was nothing.
Never was.
There was suspicion from high school.
Well, I didn't know it, but
You must have missed it.
yeah, because they were.
You
they
weren't
were-
following baseball.
Yeah, they were saying that he was going to break the record, but couldn't have asked for a nicer guy. We talked the whole way. He had a white blazer on, and that was
That's
before
it.
the J-Lo. He had jeans on, and he might have had boots on. I can't remember, but we talked a long time, and I was saying, wow, I'm really around greatness. You know, this is a guy that ended his career with 7 All-Star appearances at third base, 7 All-Star appearances at shortstop, 696 career home runs. And then the very next year, 2007, was when Jose Canseco comes out with a second book, pretty much ruined Alex Rodriguez's life. And again, like Chip always says, he's one of the few that love baseball. It's the most hypocritical sport going. You know, you got some ballparks it's 300, you know, to hit a home run. Others is about 800. You know, some's windy, some's dome, some's undome. There's no structure. You got guys like Alex Rodriguez and Barry Bonds who got into weightlifting and bulking up and got stronger so that he can get famous with the home runs. It saved the game of baseball. Baseball lost the whole World Series when it went out on strike. So my hat's off to guys like Alex Rodriguez, Barry Bonds, my favorite player of all time, Mark McGwire, only player I would pay to watch play, and Sammy Sosa. They saved the game. It's a shame baseball and other people like Chip has turned their back on these guys that they used to cheer for. And that's what's on my mind. That's the fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
A little addition
Alex
to
Rodriguez.
Smokin' Jim. He has a philosophy: if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
I agree with that.
There ain't no argument. So they was cheating.
And I think the Pirates that year had 5 All-Stars, I believe, Chip, in that game. How many they got this year?
Who?
2.
They got 2. Who's the second one?
Felipe
Vasquez.
Vasquez.
Nightmare.
Vasquez is on the team?
Yeah. How'd you miss
what
that?
position?
He pitches.
He's a relief pitcher. He's been a relief pitcher his entire career. Do you think? Well,
as again,
Jody's a Velasquez.
a little
He's going to play
information.
cornerback.
A little information from Smoking Jim. He doesn't really follow baseball. If there's something negative on the Pirates, he's all in it. Thank you, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Well, everybody, tonight once again we celebrate the great game of baseball, and through all of Jim's misconceptions about what reality actually is, okay? Oh, you know,
You got to tunnel down a little.
they call it fiction. In fact, because there's way more fiction than fact. But that being said, so what's going on tonight is it's always been referred to as the Midsummer Classic. And I think what has happened with the All-Star Game is that it's lost a little bit of its luster as a result of interleague play. Yeah. Because the only time that a lot of us National League lovers, and I do love the game that the National League plays more so than the American League game, I am not a fan of the designated hitter, nor will I ever be. You know, we see these American League teams all the time. And it used to be the only time we'd get to see people like Reggie Jackson and Vida Blue and all these other great, Carl Yastrzemski, you know.
What's that?
New York Yankee pinstripe. I've always been an American League.
But either way, we'd only see them at the All-Star Game or in the World Series, you know. But now we get to see them, you know, multiple times every year. You know, a lot of interleague play, and not one of my favorite things. But you know, I still do hold the All-Star Game as something that's special. So I wanted to revisit something I went over, and I can't remember how many years ago. We've been doing this show for so long, right, Alan?
8 years.
But you know, I'm going to go over some fun facts about the All-Star Game. Okay, and the first All-Star Game was played in 1933. You remember that one, right? You were walking them down on the red carpet, right? With white players, right? Okay. It was played in 1933 at Comiskey Park in conjunction with Chicago's Century of Progress Exposition. It was the brainchild of Chicago Tribune sports editor Arch Ward.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Next, the very first person to hit an all-star home run, none other than Alan's favorite baseball player,
Yeah.
Babe Ruth. A two-run shot to right field off the Cardinals, Bill Callahan in 1933. The American League won 4-2. From 1959 to 1962, there were 2 All-Star games each season.
Wow.
I remember that.
1959, I believe one of them was played here at Forbes Field as well. Hometown hero Carl Hubble, who played for the New York Giants, became a legend by striking out in order Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Al Simmons, and Joe Cronin in a row in 1934 at the Polo Grounds. They all wound up in the Hall of Fame.
Spitball.
And now that you mention it, of the 18 players who started the 1934 game, only Wally Berger is not in the Hall of Fame.
Let's get him in.
You know,
He missed
maybe
it.
he was juicing. The 1962 Mets had one All-Star. That was the year of the expansion Mets, and I believe they set the record for futility and most losses for a team in that season. Future Hall of Famer Richie Ashburn. In 1957, Cincinnati fans stuffed the ballot box and elected Reds to every position except for Stan Musial at first base. Commissioner Ford Frick stepped in and replaced Gus Bell and Wally Post with Hank Aaron and Willie Mays, then took the voting away from the fans. The 9 most games on All-Star rosters, okay? Who has been on the All-Star roster more times than any other player? Hammering Hank Aaron with 25 All-Star appearances. Followed by Denora's own Stan the Man Musial with 24, and Willie Mays with 24.
Wow.
Followed by the Mickey Mantle with 20.
Wow.
I didn't know Mickey played that long.
Wow.
I did.
In 1971, this was a historic year for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but more importantly for the All-Star Game, because in 1971, pinch hitter Reggie Jackson of the Oakland A's hit a Doc Ellis slider so hard that it hit an electrical transformer on the Tiger Stadium's right field roof and bounced halfway back to the infield. Wow. Scientists say it would have carried 532 feet if the transformer hadn't gotten away. And I say, if the transformer hadn't got into the way, that ball still wouldn't have landed. The 2008 game at Yankee Stadium went 15 innings, lasted 4 hours and 50 minutes, and ended at 1:38 a.m. Jim's favorite player and the man who shall never be in the Hall of Fame, Pete Rose, was an all-star at first base, second base, third base, left field, and right field.
Can you repeat that?
No.
No, repeat the party. We'll
Now
never
this
get in the
was
Hall of Fame.
this was as of 2011. Okay, so these numbers have changed, but the National League held an edge at that time of 41-38, and I think the National League is on a 7 or an 8 game losing streak right now.
They are.
So those numbers have changed, and the junior circuit now leads the senior circuit in All-Star Game wins. Manager Joe McCarthy started 6 of his Yankees in 1939 at Yankee Stadium and let the position players go the distance. The American League won 3-1, and Joe DiMaggio homered in the 5th.
Wow.
New York teams have hosted 8 times. The Yankees 4, the New York Giants twice, the Mets, and the Brooklyn Dodgers once. Gary Sheffield and Moises Alou each were an all-star for 5 different teams.
Wow.
They homered twice in an all-star game. Archie Vaughan of the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1941. Ted Williams of the Boston Red Sox in 1946. Al Rosen of the Cleveland Indians in 1954. Willie McCovey of the San Francisco Giants in 1969.
He was good.
And Gary Carter for the Montreal Expos in 1981. In 2002 at Milwaukee, both teams ran out of pitchers with the score tied at 7 in the 11th inning. And Commissioner Bud Selig, in one of his darker moments, called the game. There was no winner. There was no loser. And it was after that game that they decided to start putting home field advantage
That's garbage.
for the World Series, which Major League Baseball has seen the light and has done away with. That's one of the most ridiculous things. Because whatever you want to say, the All-Star Game is it's an exposition game, okay? This is not, it should not have any bearing on anybody's standings or home field advantage in the World Series. The 1981 game on August 9th in Cleveland marks the resumption of baseball after a strike from June 12th to July 31st. It drew a record crowd of 72,086. And that was the season that baseball had first half winner and a second half winner that played in the playoffs to determine who went to the World Series. It was, it was not the first time baseball made a mess of things.
Oh, yeah.
What do you know?
The 1955 All-Star Game at Milwaukee, won by Stan Musial's 12th inning home run, occurred the same day as the funeral for founder Arch Ward.
Wow.
So there you go. Some interesting facts about the All-Star Game. Festivities start tonight with Shinjin Ryu pitching for the National League and Justin Verlander pitching for the American League. And yes, Justin Verlander's leading the league in victories. He's also leading the league in home runs given up, so maybe National League might get some batting practice. The Dodgers pitcher is leading the league in the lowest ERA.
Wow.
So be interesting to see.
Chip, before we go to Al Levine and Talking Machine, how many different positions was Pete Rose in All-Star? And he was really good.
First base, second base, third base, right field, left field, 5.
5 positions. I'm glad Josh Bell can play first.
Mr. Negative is struck again, folks. He's alive and well. He can't see much, but he can still hear. Thanks, Smoking Jim. Your wisdom's appreciated. And he stays with that negative theme on Buccos. On location, we had one of our greatest shows at Olive Oil's Pizzeria, the Smokin' Jim Frazier Birthday Bash in Pittsburgh Sportsline Hall of Fame. Smokin' Jim, Dan Bogan, Sindel Taylor did a great job. Dan Bogan was announcing, Sindel Taylor was presenting, and he brought in, I think it was 6 Hall of Famers. Yes. Smokin' Jim did a great job, great presentation, great people he brought in, and one person even said it's the year of the woman.
Yeah.
5 women got in, 1 man. So, as Vince Ornato asked, he goes, does Smokin' Jim ever put any guys in? I said, I'm in. So that's 1 guy. No, we got 2. No, but it was a great show. Had a nice birthday cake for Smokin' Jim Frazier. Now, if he can only find my knife, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it was a great crowd there. Olive Oils was packed with people, and we had guests and friends come to the show. Got to see another show. We'll be back there August 12th on location at Olive Oil's Pizzeria, 930 Brookline Boulevard. Can't beat it. Next week we'll be on location at the Ray Schaefer Boxing Association, 1017 Main Street. We'll be there 7:30 to 8:30 in downtown Sharpsburg. Smokin' Jim, get ready for another good show there. We're supposed to do the show out of a ring, an old historic ring, and Joe Board's boxing gym's supposed to be there. We got Paul Kennedy, wrote a book on Billy Conn. Wow. Tom Liturgy, ring announcer for KSWA, and Ernie Keegan, boxing trainer and author. So we got an all-star cast. Check that out. Then we'll be on location on the 20th of July at the Bronson House. Dan Bogan will be announcing the fights ringside. Smokin' Jim and I will be filming and announcing the boxing matches. They start at 5 p.m. Smokin', so be there early. And then we got boxing this weekend. It's not on location, but it's at the Carnegie Museum in Homestead, July 13th. Great night of boxing. Then we have another show.
You mean it's at the Carnegie Library?
Yeah,
okay.
Carnegie
Library. Museum. Okay.
Yeah. I got carried away with that.
I know.
Yeah, it's a historic place. Andrew Carnegie donated all these libraries, and now people have to pay for it. So puts it in quite the predicament there. But it's interesting. It's a great place, great venue. They do concerts and everything. It'll be a great night. Then on the 27th, we're at Arnold's Tea. It's 502 East Ohio Street, right a couple blocks down from the Park House where we did shows. Chef Cloudy, who runs the place, is excited about having us there. So we're going to do a show at 2 p.m. July 27th. That's 2 p.m. at Arnold's Tea. So check that out. That's our shows on location coming up. And we're going to be back with some Bucko talk in a couple minutes. Don't change that dial, Chief. Have some dessert. Bucko talk. Well, they're not playing. Couple more days. All-Star games tonight at 8. So I might be watching an inning or 2 of that just to see if there's any home runs getting knocked out of the ballpark. Contrary to Smokin' Jim, I like the long ball. So we'll see what happens. But with the Buccos, I'm still optimistic for them to have the record, one game under 500?
Pirates are now sitting officially at 44-45.
Ain't bad.
Since their 7-game losing streak, the Pirates are 14-7 in their last 21
2.5 games out of first place?
2.5 games out of first place. And the big question about the Pirates were the Pirates played well against losing teams, but look what they do against winning teams. And leading up to the All-Star break and shortly after, the Pirates are going to go through a 26-game streak of teams with winning records. And so far, they've played 13 games, and the Pirates are 8-5. They took 5 out of 7 on a homestand.
Yeah, this was great.
Taking 3 out of 4 from the Chicago Cubs, best team money can buy, and taking 2 out of 3 from the Brewers, who seem to be the Pirates' nemesis this year.
Yeah.
The Pirates have only beaten them, I believe, 3 or 4 times and have lost to them 9 times. So Friday night, the second half starts in earnest with a 3-game set at Wrigley Field, and there will not be a lack of fireworks between the Pirates and the Cubs. In the last game of the series, Joe Maddon went berserk, went after Clint, got ejected from the game because the Pirates pitchers were pitching inside. And several of the Cubs players got hit. Batters getting hit is part of the game, and the way the game has evolved. The players stand right up on top of the plate, and a lot of the players step back from the plate and step into the plate as the ball is pitched. And, the only defense that a pitcher has against these guys that are extending their arms and getting the fat part of the bat out over the plate is to pitch the batters inside. Subsequently, occasionally a player gets hit. Do I think that they're being hit deliberately? No. I think, is this part of baseball? Yes. It's been part of baseball for over 150 years, and I don't understand what seems to be Joe Maddon's problem. I do think I know what the problem for Joe Maddon is, even though he may not believe it, because he's the resident baseball genius.
Yeah.
I think he's on the verge of getting fired because, yes, he did win the World Series in 2016, but with the amount of money that they invest in the Chicago Cubs, and for that team to be struggling as badly as it is this year, something's got to give, and they're not going to fire the players. When something like that happens, they got too much money tied up into them. It's usually the coach that goes, and I think
good point, Chip.
I think that's what's gonna go on to try to shake up the Cubs. But the Cubs, for all the money that they've invested into pitching, their pitching staff's no better than the Pirates.
Yeah.
And they're paying these guys $25-30 million a year, and are they getting a return on that right now?
What if Hader's not in the game? Then they're in trouble.
Yeah. So I don't believe they're getting a good return on their investment. So something's got to give. There's going to be quite an interesting second half. And I've said this once. I said this before the season started. I've said this multiple times since. Keep an eye on the Pittsburgh Pirates. This team is going to make some noise before the season's over.
Whoa.
And I would take Joe Maddon any day over a Hurdle in a fight, wouldn't you?
No.
Be a good fight.
No, I really wouldn't care to see either of them fight. I mean, to be honest with you, if they were just seen and not heard, I would like them a lot better, both of them. But, they're both good managers in their own right. But, Clint doesn't seem to be have any risk of losing his job anytime soon. So.
They just re-upped them.
Well, and here's the thing. The job that he has done managing this team this year, got to be one of his best managing jobs yet. I mean, with the way his starting pitching staff had kind of fallen apart, and the fact that they can even be in contention at this point, I think it's masterful what he's done. And I mean, they have as good of a starting 8 in the field as any team in baseball.
Let's get Smoking Jim's opinion.
Well, they're still under 500. If you're talking about a great managerial job from a team that at one point had won 96 games in one season and fallen off after that. So some of that blame got to be on the manager, I would think, wouldn't you?
Well, and I think more of the blame falls on the players because the same team that won 96 games in 2015 failed miserably The players underperformed in 2016, and if you don't believe me, check their statistics. It's right there in black and white. Yes, the manager has to accept some responsibility. Players have to as well, because they get paid a lot of money to perform, not to make excuses.
Well, Smoking Jim got to bring out the negativity, which he did.
Well, yeah, but
Brilliantly too. He brought it up brilliantly.
And on a sad note with the Pittsburgh Pirates, Francisco Cervelli was interviewed on Sunday, and he has come forward of his own volition, and he has said that he will never catch again in Major League Baseball. He has suffered so many concussions, and he has been out of the Pirates lineup since May the 29th because of his most recent concussion. And he said that he does not want to continue to live with this situation and constantly. So he still wants to play baseball, and he's got a passion for the game. And the Pirates are giving him the opportunity to work at playing a position. The Pirates are going to pay him his salary, $11.5 million, which is the highest salary on the Pirates this year.
Guaranteed. Through
Through the end of the season. Yes, it is guaranteed. And, Francisco Cervelli came to this decision on his own. And right now, with the way the Pirates are performing, with Elias Diaz as the starting catcher and Jacob Stallings as the backup catcher, they're a great 1-2 combination. They're handling the pitching staff very well. And I don't think, I regret seeing Francisco Cervelli in the situation that he's in, and I hope he can find, a place to him. Does he still have, a spot on this team? I do believe that he can be a valuable player as a fill-in role, as an everyday starter. Maybe not so much, and it's unfortunate because somebody that's a fan favorite, such a contributor to the team, and no, Jim, he's not being stabbed in the back by the Pirates.
No,
he's being stabbed in the back by fate.
I agree
Okay,
with that.
I mean,
a lot of hard-working guy, did a great job while he's here. But if he's going to play a position in the field, only position he can play is first base, and we already got that.
Who said that?
No, he's been taking balls at second base. He's been taking balls at third base. He's been taking fly balls in the outfield.
He's an athlete.
And you never know what's going to
Jim.
happen because right now the Pirates have a solid outfield. Corey Dickinson out again with a injured groin muscle.
Groin, yeah.
Okay. Gregory Polanco, we don't know how long it's going to take him to get back because his shoulder has not healed yet, and he has been very, very inconsistent. You've got Brian Reynolds, who's just been a superstar. Starling Marte, who's a Gold Glove winning outfielder. And Melky Cabrera, what a find he was in the offseason.
What a gamble. It
They
paid off.
offered him a minor league contract and invited him to spring training. He didn't even have a roster spot. And he won himself a position on the major league roster, and he's been nothing short of fantastic. He's a great fill-in outfielder. He never throws the ball to the wrong place.
He's got a great arm.
And he's got a great arm, and he's batting over 300. He always comes up with the big hit when the Pirates need it. He's been a great find. So that leads me to what has been the talk of the town. The Pirates have to make some moves. They got to trade for some pitching. And here's what the problem is with that. A majority of the teams in the major leagues need pitching, okay? And Pittsburgh Pirates, yes, they could use some pitching, but, if you're going to make a trade, what you have to evaluate is what is the cost of the trade, and is the cost worth what you're going to get out of it. Now, if you're going to get a rental player who you're only going to have 2 months and you're going to give up players that you're looking to be able to play on your major league roster next year and the year and beyond, I don't think it's worth making that trade right now. I think that this team, the way it is situated right now, even with the deficiencies we have in starting pitching and the inconsistency out of our middle relief, I still think this team can compete for a division crown. Any division in Major League Baseball that's up for grabs, it's the Central Division of the National League.
After they blew the trade last year, I don't think they want to go down that road again. What the Pirates is really lacking, and this is no knock on them, they're a young team, they're lacking the leadership. You need that leadership.
Well, you know what, and I do believe that the Pirates do have an identity now. They have a face of the franchise in Josh Bell, and I believe that you've seen more leadership out of so many different players this year. Because if there's one thing that I can say about this Pirate team, and I was there on Wednesday night, and they were down 6-1 in the bottom of the 9th inning, and they ended up winning 7-6.
Wow.
7-6 in the
You missed
9th
that. I
inning.
caught away from
In
you.
the 9th inning. And the Pirates have done this time and time again. Friday night, they tied the game up 6-6 in the bottom of the 9th, only to lose in the top of the 10th, 7-6. Okay?
What a
but
comeback
I
that
mean,
was.
there is never a game that they are out of. And, I mean, what more can you ask for out of a team? And this team is exciting to watch.
Don't you think every game they're a little bit closer to their annual collapse? You don't get that feeling this year?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Negativity is back in business. He's
get
saying
that
it how
feeling.
he sees it.
Yeah, until I see some leadership.
Smoking Jim,
Josh Bell ain't no leader.
I think they lead the league in comeback wins after the
They
7th
lead the
inning.
league in comeback wins after the 7th inning. They
20
lead
games,
They
I
lead the
think.
league in
20.
pinch hits. Okay, well, late in the game, that's helped them to win over. I believe it's over 22 games
Yeah.
they've come from behind.
Yeah.
They're always good before the All-Star break. It's after the break that we worry about. That's when teams start really
I'm
playing.
worried.
Jim, considering the luck that you have gambling, making predictions about what the Pirates are going to do after the All-Star break.
Well, somebody misspoke that they should have bet with Smoking Jim. I said,
Yes,
no,
that was a genius.
you got to bet the opposite of Smoking Jim. You heard it tonight. He thinks the Pirates are going to sink. Bet the house on the Buccos
Collapse.
for the second half.
I'll
Well,
tell you
that's
what,
sinking.
if you enjoy baseball,
Bet against Smoking Jim.
pay attention to the Pittsburgh Pirates. You will not be disappointed this year.
He's insincere.
So,
Smoking.
since this is a sports talk show, and I'm wondering if you've paid attention to what's going on in the NBA. Wow, they stabbed LeBron in the back, didn't they? Kwame Leonard went to the Los Angeles Clippers, not the Lakers. Oops, wrong team, huh?
He's close.
He
He
and
was
Paul
close.
George are they're gonna rule Los Angeles, right? Yeah, we'll see what happens. But what's going on with the NBA now? You got Russell Westbrook who's looking to be traded to Miami. Now here's a guy that's got 4 years left on his contract and $172 million guaranteed. Why would he want to go to Miami when they've been
He wants
consistently
He
a
wants to
playoff
win. He
caliber
thinks he
team
can win.
in Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
But I guess.
Well, they've dismantled the team around him pretty much.
Yeah, he's
Well,
the only
because
one
he's
left.
so obnoxious, nobody wants to play with him.
I would love to play with that guy.
Well, you know what?
Well, you're a football guy, not a
Head
basketball
on down
guy.
to South Beach. Take your talents to South Beach, right?
No,
Isn't that
we'll
how
see
that
what
was?
happens.
So we've got the goings on in the NBA, and what's going on in the NHL? What do the Penguins do? The Penguins extended Mike Sullivan
Yeah.
4 years.
Bad move. Bad
4 years. Yeah, I know. It's a bad move to extend a coach that won 2 consecutive Stanley Cups.
What have you done for me lately?
Oh, yeah. I
Last
guess
2
so.
years he didn't win. You're
What
right,
have- What have you
Smoking.
done without Fury and the curse? He's making a
Fleury.
lot of bad
Flurry.
Flurry.
Fury's the fighter.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
You got boxing mixed up. in
Yeah,
this.
you got boxing on the brain. Maybe you take it.
English is not my native language.
All right, Stevie.
So we've got the Penguins who've locked up their coach, and the Penguins have some problems that they need to address. They are over the salary cap, and some moves have to be made.
Here
and
come the excuses.
who are the moves going to be? The Penguins have some players with some fairly big salaries that somebody's going to have to give. Somebody's
Sure.
going to go somewhere.
There's another move or
And
two.
who's it's going to be? Is it going to be Jack Johnson, who carries a big price tag?
They just signed him. How they getting rid of him?
Well, see, and that's the real genius of Mike Rutherford. Okay, he
Jim Rutherford.
Jim Rutherford. That's a real genius of Jim Rutherford, because what he does, he doesn't care. I'll sign him for 6 years. Don't worry. I'll find some sucker to take this contract off my hands. Look what they did with Phil Kessel.
Yeah.
You know, they got that contract off their hands.
Yeah, that worked out well.
That worked out well. Even though it was a move more orchestrated by Phil Kessel than it was Jim Rutherford.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to go play for Rick Tocchet, because Rick Tocchet let him not practice and let him do whatever he wanted. And he didn't have to play in the structured system that really Mike Sullivan has a system that has been proven to be a winning system.
Sure. They just got to do it.
They just have to do, and they have to fill their roles. And when players decide to do what they want to do instead of filling their roles, well, subsequently they get made to go away.
Only thing Sullivan's done lately is worn out his welcome.
Well,
Smoking Jim Frazier's negative
it's
again.
Interesting that you say that, because usually the average length of a NHL coach's
You
career
taught me that.
is about 4.2, 4.3 years.
Yeah,
I mean, look what
4.3.
happened with the St. Louis Blues. They got rid of Yoey, was that his name?
Yeah.
He was part of the Penguins organization. And they bring in Craig Berube, who was a goon.
Yeah.
He was, he was a fighter. Boom, they win a Stanley Cup. Almost like what the Penguins did when they brought in Mike Sullivan. They weren't happy with Mike Johnston.
He doesn't remember that.
Yeah, he did. Bad memory. You know. He must have been
We didn't keep
concussed.
the coach very long, Smoking Jim, then.
He must have been
In hockey.
concussed. So, the Penguins still have moves to make. Training camp starts at some point in September. It'll be interesting to see what kind of a Penguin team they've got this year, because Jim Rutherford said he was going to shake things up, and they've been shaking.
He got him younger. They're younger now.
They're younger, they're faster, and we'll see how they meld as a team. Because the one thing he said that was a problem with that team last year is they didn't play as a team. We'll see what happens.
You never know. You never know with that chemistry on a team.
Jim's all about the chemicals
Just
on
that,
the team.
yeah. Just ask Smoking about that. Any word on the Steelers or anything, Smoking?
Well, the one good thing is we all know the most talented team in the division is the Cleveland Browns. They got a tough schedule this year, so if they don't win it all this year, it's coming. The changing of the guard is happening in Cleveland, but I'm happy for Antonio Brown. If you guys remember last year when some furniture dropped out of the window in Miami, and
he threw it.
He settled with the kid. He put a college fund together for the kid and gave some money to make everything go away. But I'm just happy that the kid didn't get killed, because Antonio Brown will be in jail. I think it's ridiculous for people to think that the demise of Antonio Brown is because the best thing that ever happened to him was going to Oakland. Number one, he's crazy about girls, so they'll be in Vegas next year. So, number two, John Gruden is a genius. He will find a way to get Antonio Brown not only open, but wide open. Derek Carr, if he stays healthy, they're going to be a very exciting team. Look for Antonio Brown, who's the most in-shape guy in the league, to be going in motion all the time. He'll be lining up in the backfield. John Gruden is a genius. He ain't the greatest coach in the world as far as defense, special teams. He ain't a great leader, but John Gruden knows how to get his wide receiver wide open. And Antonio Brown is going to, if he stays healthy, because Burfict may get him in practice, but Antonio Brown will lead the league.
And another thing John Gruden can do very well is get his team the third pick in the draft each and every year, because that's what a genius is. And anyhow, the last thing I'm going to say about this, everybody has gone ahead and crowned the Cleveland Browns as the next great thing in the AFC North.
Yes.
Well, don't ever forget one thing. They are the Cleveland Browns, and they haven't won anything yet. When they do it, I'll believe it, but not until then.
Bet against Smoking Jim Frazier. Well, thanks for watching our show. We get a little silly at times, but we try to present the sports and our opinions out there for you. Thanks to Smoking Jim Frazier and his negativity on the Buccos and Penguins. Thanks to Chip Hayner for his positivity on the Pirates and Penguins. And I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Good night, and stay Joey strong.